And you're welcome to Joynews Prime. Top on the line this evening, big wigs in Parliament fall in today's elections to choose candidates for December 2020 for the NPP. We'll run by some of the casualties and speak to political scientists on what the implications will be for the governing NPP in the general elections. Also, Ashanti Regional Chairman of the NPP appeals to all losers in the primaries to rally behind the party for December 2020. We'll take you around some of the constituencies which witnessed sporadic clashes in the polls as well. Also in the news, the National Identification Authority is warning citizens against taking up multiple vouching duties as contracts for cash in the ongoing mop-up registration. I'm Gifty Andalpia. The details now. Now, in what was a surprise to many, the race in La Dade saw incumbent Member of Parliament and former Deputy Communications Minister Vincent Sowa Odotoi losing his bid. Komla Adom describes how eventual winner, a management and public administration lecturer at the University for Professional Studies, Joseph Gerald Tete Nanofio, is pledging to unite the New Patriotic Party in the La Dade constituency for victory in December.
A confident Member of Parliament for the La Dade constituency, Vincent Sowa Odotoi, after casting what he called a victory vote. Wait, look what he did here. Well, you cannot fault a man who believed he had done enough to regain the endorsement of delegates of the party to represent them once more.
We are pretty confident that the constituents will reward us for the work that we've done. The biggest social intervention at the constituency level since independence at any constituency, and I don't think it's deniable. I don't think as we speak, there's any constituency in Ghana where crèche, day nursery and KG in the main township is free. I don't think there's any constituency where health insurance for every child up to 17 years, physically challenged, and those above the age of 59, where it's universally free. I don't think there is.
His main contender, lecturer at the University for Professional Studies, Joseph Gerald Nitete Nyanyofio, believed he had sold the delegates a superior message, a message of hope.
My senior brother has done all these projects he has mentioned, but given the amount of authority and power and resources at his disposal in a rich constituency such as ours, this is the least he can do for the community.
But after hours of voting, the delegates were unanimous.
Sowa Odotoi pulled 376. Joseph Gerald Tete Nyanyofio also had 543. Joseph Gerald Tete Nyanyofio as the parliamentary candidate elect for the Dade constituency.
With incumbent MP Vincent Sowa nowhere to be found around the collation ground, Joseph Gerald Nitete Nyanyofio promised to unite the party and push for victory come December 2020.
Delegates have spoken loudly, and I'm going to respect their mandate and give them the benefits and all the fruits that politics and leadership can bring.
What happens to Vincent Sowa Odotoi?
I've maintained that he has been a senior brother. I'll continue to engage him so that we can forge ahead as one united people.
Supporters of Mr. Sowa Odotoi say though they would have loved to be retained, they will throw their support behind the new candidate.
In the constituency, I'm known as Dennis Brown. I do a whole lot. I involve in every activities. You see, that goes on in the community. I like Gerard. He's a young guy. He's determined. You see, looking at his cooperation and also how he liaises with the youth, he's doing massive. But the fact that he has won doesn't mean I'm not in a high spirit. I'm still in the winning spirit.
For supporters of Mr. Nyanyofio, it is a matter of fresh wind blowing through the constituency. I am excited Gerard has won. We have confidence that he will repay the faith we reposed in him.
County ballot and I can me Ojoye be. But I got time I check a ballot. I check a she no me. Now I got to 7 years. I got no foshy. Now bomb me no canemo. You know now that 7 naka.
I'm so excited.
No small menesani. Vincent, alo echuni ojogba.
Ofa na jele echuni ojogba. Eba fe ko. Ewa no ko ho aba.
Now we are going to go to the home of the incumbent Vincent Soa Odote. In fact, he will lead the campaign for Gerard from tomorrow.
Come on, don't file that report from the Dadekotopon constituency. We'll be taking you to the other constituencies. Like I said, we're bringing you the highlight of what has happened so far. But let's get quickly on the phone. We have John Boydu, the General Secretary for the NPP, joining me on the phone. Mr. Boydu, thank you for your time this evening. You must be very tired. But first of all, your assessment.
Yeah, thank you very much. Our assessment for this election today clearly is an indication that the New Patriotic Party once again have proven beyond doubt that it is possible to have free and fair elections, transparent elections, by observing a social distance protocol in this period of our time. And we've proven once again and proven beyond doubt that our democratic tenets as the political party has really triumphed today after the poll.
So your assessment is that generally you did well, but it's interesting that the most important part of it all for you is social distancing, because that seemed to have been the biggest casualty. It was totally thrown to the wind. Did you see any of the videos?
Not exactly so, because most of the places that I visited, the little challenge is about the agents of the candidates who were standing closer to the Electoral Commission officers. You know, and I was admonishing them that if there's no delegate coming to vote, they can give a lot more social distance than they did. But by and large, because of the way the elections was organized, we did it at electoral areas. The numbers were few. And in most of the places, you even have the elections being held inside with most of the supporters outside. You understand? So we're very cautious about this. We provided a lot of hand sanitizers around, the face masks was seen.
Mr. Boydu, if I may just interrupt you there, sanitizers may be present, but I'm wondering, like a lot of other Ghanaians who have watched the videos, we've seen people hugging, shaking hands and all of that. What did you put into education in terms of the planning?
I think this is a general education that all of us must join hands in federating it. It has nothing to do with even the New Patriotic Party per se.
No, I'm talking specifically the things you did ahead of the election, knowing very well that people will be congregating at least.
No, I'm saying that we did all. We went ahead and educated our people, got them to understand that COVID is real. So in the process, we have to still observe all the protocols that we need to observe.
Okay.
It is something that all of us must look at, particularly if you see some of the pictures where after the elections people were jubilating as if nothing is happening and all that. These are things that counts with election that takes time before it dies down. So it's something that continuously all of us must continue to further educate and get our people aware that in your moment of joy, you still must be mindful that there's a need for us to still continue to observe social distance.
Very well. I just want to find out from you also, are you surprised at the results we're seeing? About 40 of your incumbent members of parliament have fallen, despite all the measures you put in place to make sure that some of them went unopposed?
Oh, well, some of them going unopposed means that they are not being contested at all. So that is not part of the problem. Really, it's the sentiments of the people on the ground, clearly. And most often, for us in this politics of ours, sometimes getting new candidates really, really energizes the ground. Get the new candidate become fired up If you look at the results of 2016 elections in particular, more specifically in Ashanti region, almost all constituencies that we had new candidates massively increased our margins in the 2016 election. So it is not all that negative. It is not all that bad to see some changes in
but it is somehow bad.
Yeah.
If it is not all that bad, it is somehow bad.
Well, depending on you are looking at names.
It's a question, sir.
I'm saying that you are looking at names. But sometimes somebody like Educhum, Dr. Educhum, used not to be a parliamentarian. Our sitting member of parliament then was the now regional minister. And look at the freshness that he has brought, not only to parliament, but to governance as well. So these are things that as a people we must understand. I'm saying that from the records, sometimes these changes are rather positive for the party.
All right. Mr. Boydu, thank you very much for your time, and I wish you all the best in the rest of the work you have to do to election 2020. John Boydu is the General Secretary for the governing NPP. Now, let me take you to another constituency. It was a real heated contest at Kroa, which saw the incumbent Elizabeth Afole-Kwe win by just 3 votes. Ernest Menu was there.
The 3 contenders had a difficult task of winning 722 delegates in the Kroa constituency. They were confident.
The majority of the people are expecting that I'll be retained. So, over 90% of the people. Yes.
No, I'm saying it's 70%. 70%. A little over 70%.
Their agents were alert with their eyes widely opened.
The album we know we are going to use to vote is the same album we are using now. So I think everything is perfect here.
The victory is in the Lord's hands. And then we've already won those 2 people who are coming. And remember, the woman is the neck of the house. And she has taken the lead already.
Wow. Then the moment of truth.
3.
At this point, it was clear it was a 2-horse race between the incumbent and the engineer. There was what I call the battle before the verdict. The 2 groups from the 2 camps playing mind games with the chanting of songs. But when it was all said and done, Elizabeth Afole-Kwe maintained her ticket by just 3 votes.
At the end of the poll, on the 20th of June 2020 for Krowa constituency, the candidate with the highest votes had 362 in the person of Honorable Elizabeth Afole-Kwe. Since then,
by the grace of God, I won convincingly. Yes, God has done me well. The good Lord has done me well. I thank all my constituents. I thank all the delegates for voting for me massively to be retained in this 2020 election. My promise to all the delegates and all the members of the party and all party faithfuls in Kroa that we are winning 2020 general elections.
But she acknowledges the neck-and-neck nature of the competition will call for some efforts at uniting the party.
I'm inviting everybody. I'm calling on everybody. Those who voted for me, those who voted against me, I want everybody to come on board. We have to be united so we can win. Our enemy is the NDC, and we have to fight the NDC to retain power.
But the engineer has graciously declared his support.
So I have accepted the results wholeheartedly, and I want to congratulate the Honorable Afole for winning the election. I wish her well, and I'm throwing my support on her so that we come December, we see how that will also go. I wish we win this seat.
All right, so let's go to Okaikwe South. Polling station woman organizer for the Okaikwe South constituency, Dakwa Newman, who unseated incumbent member of parliament Ahmed Arthur in Saturday's NPP primary, says her victory is an indication of the NPP retaining the constituency seat in the December polls. Madam Dakwa Newman won with 440 votes, whilst incumbent Ahmed Arthur had 327 votes.
791 delegates had a choice to make this morning, either to keep the incumbent Ahmed Arthur or to make a choice between Dakwa Newman and Nana Fredwa Ajimano Foriata. At the end of it all, they decided on the founder of a humanitarian NGO, DNF, Dakwa Newman.
I appreciate everything everybody has done, and I wouldn't let anybody down. This is a win for NPP. It's not a win just for me. We are all going to work together to ensure that we retain this seat come December 2020. So it's a win for us all, and congratulations to the party at large.
But before then, there were some issues when we went to some of the polling centers.
He's even not aware of this provision, but someone has come to cast the ballot on his behalf. You see what I'm talking about? They went there, they followed all protocol procedures, including the checking of everything. They were okay.
We are the Kaneshi polling center, and even though the space here is so big, I see that a lot of them are crammed up together there. There's no social distancing being observed. The police officer have just gone to tell them to probably ensure that they are observing the protocols, but nothing seems to be done. We will try and talk to them to find out how this matter will be resolved.
There was a consensus, the parties yesterday, that there is proxy. But this morning, when the one who's supposed to come and cast the proxy came, they said the other agencies that they're not going to allow, but we've been able to solve that particular issue. One
of your executives just said that this issue has been resolved. Are you satisfied?
I'm not satisfied. And in fact, we raised concern officially.
In some of the centers we visited, with regards to coronavirus, we realized that social distancing was highly practiced. However, the absence of Veronica buckets were very clear. How will you rate the precautionary measures that have been put in place here?
70%, because there's no Veronica bucket to wash our hands. So it will be 70%. Although we have the sanitizer, and they provided us with nose masks too, so we are okay.
One of the delegates had an advice for the Electoral Commission ahead of the December elections with regards to safety protocols.
I believe if we can improve on this, it will be better. So that the general election, when I look around, I don't see any washing bucket around, nothing. But the general one, we have to make sure that at least this place is a little bit big. So we should have the Veronica bucket, so that the moment you enter the gate, you wash your hand before you come in. Before you enter, we should have a security in the gate who can tell you that wash your hand, put your nose mask and do this, do that. I think it's better. And look, they are finished and they are sitting down, but they are forgetting themselves that this virus is around. So the general election, you have to make sure that the moment you finish voting, you have to go.
Some of you are not wearing masks. No social distance. No mask.
So you can hear that the divisional police commander is asking the delegates to go home because they are not observing the protocols.
We observe the counting of the declaration than to sit here. 11 election regulations. This election vote and go for all elections.
Yes, sir. As earlier, when I spoke to these delegates, they told me that they would prefer to hang around because their homes are far. Earlier, when I spoke to you, you said that you wouldn't go, but now you've been asked to go.
What I'm trying to say is, I wanted to stay here, but later the divisional officer, the divisional commander came to tell us that we should go home, so that when it's around 12:01, then we come back for the observing of the counting. Yeah, so we are going home. So I'm going to take some banku and pepper with fried fish, my home food.
I may join you soon.
Oh, then if you don't come, I'll bring yours.
Don't worry at all. We'll be here for the counting. Why did you want the incumbent out?
No, we want change.
Yeah.
We want no development. No development in this constituency. So we want change. That is it.
For 8 years,
you get me?
8 years, nothing.
There's nothing. Library everywhere, no development. Even our roads. If wouldn't be Nanado that declare this year as a what do you call it? A year of roads, now we will be suffering.
But you've had the same member of parliament for 2 terms. I mean, so how come you're saying that no development?
He's not working. That is why people choose to vote him out. That is all.
From Okaikwe South here in the Greater Accra region, I am Hannah Odami.
Our correspondent Henry Kwesi Bedu also brings you highlights from 4 constituencies: Okaikwe South, Domkwabenya, Anyasochum, and Ablikuma North.
From the total poll cast, the winner for the primaries of the NPP elections was Dr. Dixon Amakukisi. Thank you.
Before that, there was a clash at Okaikwe South constituency as a suspended delegate was barred from voting. Even though he held a letter from regional officials, he argued overturned his suspension. There were mixed reactions to his argument.
Today, he showed up with a letter here that he's been cleared to come and vote. And I'm saying that in administration, even if there must be a change, there must be understanding between the constituency and region to clear you to say to vote. But you don't show up here with a letter and say that you've been cleared, so you are going to vote. No.
Actually, all those who have been suspended from voting, the national have given them amnesty to vote, and I have the letter here that says so. So if my regional, the constituency chairman has issues with it, it's rather unfortunate. But the letter that I have here and the command that I have here, that I should allow everyone to vote.
He was later allowed to cast his vote. A constituency organizer of the same constituency was also prevented from voting as polling agents held he tried voting at the wrong polling station. At Domkwabenya, tension hit the roof as a delegate was seen taking pictures of his vote. Presiding officer Janet Kwarteng calmed tempers as issues were resolved.
I was here and I heard people agitating, so I went to find out what was wrong, and they told me a gentleman who came here to vote wanted to take a picture of his vote. So one of the agents called the attention of the security that alerted everybody to come there And, there was that chaos, but it has been resolved.
Some polling stations we visited at Inyaso and Ablekuma North constituencies were mostly peaceful, with strict adherence to protocols aimed at preventing a possible outbreak of the dreaded coronavirus pandemic. Before counting and sorting, many looked anxious and tense. In the end, some chanted victory songs as their candidates emerged victorious. Supporters of some winning candidates abandoned all protocols aimed at fighting coronavirus as they were all on cloud 9. At Inyaso, outgoing Member of Parliament and Minister of Foreign Affairs, who held the mantle for 16 years, Shirley Ayoko Boche praised her successor.
110%. I'll give you my support with everything because we have to maintain the numbers, and I know you can do it. So you have my 100% support.
Oh, that's it.
Well done.
Thank you. Newly elected candidate for the constituency, Dr. Dixon Adumaku Kisi, vowed he will retain the seat.
As for 2020, we're going to retain power. And no matter what, we will pull votes for Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo.
What are you going to do differently?
I've been living here for a long time. The people know me, and they can resonate with the visions that I have for the place, and we can mobilize far more than we've had in the past, and we really intend to do the best job for the constituents.
Others shed tears as their candidates they were hoping to win lost bitterly. Henry Kwesi Bedu's report for Joynews.
Can't get very emotional. That's it for the news this hour. Our top stories: big weeks in Parliament fall in today's elections, choosing candidates for December 2020. We took you through some of the casualties, and of course we're continuing our coverage with more of the analysis on the back of that. Ashanti Regional Chairman of the NPP is also appealing to all losers in the primaries to rally behind the party for December. Log on to myjoyonline.com for more news and information. I am Gifty Andopia, and I'm still here with you from now up until 9 p.m. That's it for the news.